let's talk about Benjamin Sesco, man, because obviously as two Arsenal fans, we can speak of testament to someone that we've literally been hearing about for over a year. That was linked to our club. Obviously we've moved on and got somebody else, but we're now seeing he's heavily linked. Well, not even just linked, there's been bids submitted by both Newcastle and now Manchester United. I believe Manchester United submitted 75 million euros plus 10 million add-ons to try and get him. So, you know, it goes to show he's a hot commodity at the moment. I mean, what do you think about it? Do you think he's worth that money? Do you think it would be a good signing for either club? What do you think, Laurie?
Right, first things first, I think he is a good player. I mean, we saw when we were being linked with him, there was a lot of stuff come out about him, about how good he was in terms of his physical attributes. Big, strong guy, good in the air, two-footed, athletic, dynamic. But I think the thing was, with a lot of Arsenal fans, certainly myself, is that when you compared him to Gyökeres, you could see straight away that although he has these gifts, he's clearly a very good footballer. He's not the most prolific. I mean, I think he got something like 13 goals.
13 league goals last season in the Bundesliga. I think that might have been his highest total out of all of the seasons that he's played. But I guess that's not a bad return.
Yeah, that's a decent return. But then when you compared it with Gyökeres, and I know some people are going to say, the different goals he scored was in a different league, you know, superior to the Portuguese league, which I would agree with. But even so, I think the thing for most Arsenal fans, certainly myself, is when you compared his level of goal scoring with that of Gyökeres, it just didn't compare. Yeah.
Well, I guess you could say that for any striker at the moment in Europe because of the amount of goals that he scored.
But he clearly is a very good player.
Yeah.
And I do think that he would improve either Man United or Newcastle.
Yeah.
Well, what I find interesting about this whole scenario is that if you give them where Man United and Newcastle are, certainly in terms of the league last season, the fact that, you know, Man United were at their lowest ever they've been for many, many, many years. The fact that Sesco will still prefer Man United over Newcastle does say a lot. I mean, I know Man United is a big club, potentially one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the world. But I mean, you know, they're a long way removed from what their former glories were. Newcastle just seem to be struggling to bring anyone in. And, you know, it looks like they're going to lose their best player as well. So
yeah, I mean, just looking at what Sky Sports saying that Benjamin Sesko trained indoors away from the team at RB Leipzig's training complex today, and that Man United made a bid just under £74 million, which is about 85 million euros. And the fee is an initial 65 million plus around 8.9 million add-ons in performance-related add-ons. And then obviously Newcastle bid yesterday, but they've gone higher now. And I think their initial offer was just under 70 million, which I remember seeing David Ornstein saying that RB Leipzig saw it as insufficient, which I was like, right, man. I mean, they basically, for months we've been hearing that, you know, RB Leipzig wanted a certain amount. That opening bid that Newcastle did do was basically what they asked for, and it goes to you know what, they're kind of playing the long game, saying, yo, two clubs want this guy, who's going to cough up the most amount of money? And these are, you know, maybe not so much Manchester United at the moment, but Newcastle, you know, they're the richest club. They've got the richest owners, so they've got money to spend, and it's their first, you know, season in a while where they've been able to go into a transfer window and actually spend quite a lot. I mean, you know, it's just, where is he going to end up is the question.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to say that Man United does look to be the most favoured destination, I would have thought, at the moment. Because I think, am I right in thinking that Sesco has indicated privately that he would prefer Man United? Yeah,
I think
he's open to a move to both clubs.
Today,
But from what I'm seeing, my understanding is that he's given a preference for Man United. So I could see that move happening. Yeah,
I mean, if just to make it more personal, if you were Sesco, where would you want to go?
That's a good one, you know. Listen, Man United are the biggest club in the world. Well, let's say Real Madrid, but after that, it's probably Man United.
I'd say they're
I could see why you would want to go to. And they're not going to be as bad as they were last season. He's probably looking at it logically and thinking, they've signed Cunha, they've signed Mbeumo.
Yeah, they've got a new manager.
They got. So yeah, whereas Newcastle, although they finished further up the table. And they do have a good manager and a good structure and all the rest of it. I could see, put it this way, I could see why Man United would appeal to Sesco.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's really difficult, isn't it? Because you, like you said, you've got on one hand basically this giant club that's got all this history, and then on the other hand you've got this other club that is very big and has a lot of history, but has been a sleeping giant for a long time and starting to kind of wake up, has this really exciting project.
Yeah.
But you also look at it like, right, if I'm Sesco and I'm looking at maybe Newcastle, I'm like, right, they've failed to land any of their targets. Are they going to be able to cement themselves in that top 6 consistently? I know Manchester United haven't really, but because of heritage, I actually hate saying that, because of heritage and because of Manchester United, the name is big enough to make you kind of turn away from the fact that, you know what, they had a really poor season last season. You know they're going to bounce back. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know, where do you...
And that saviour concept
and
is quite appealing, isn't it?
He'd be the starting number 9 for Manchester United. If we consider the fact that if Alexander Isak was to stay this season, he wouldn't be the starting guy. He wouldn't be the main guy over him. I mean, it would be within time. He probably would, because Isak would be leaving. But it's whether, you know, he's willing to wait that long. I mean, he's 22. He's young, exciting. It's just...
Dare I say it, United sounds a more stable proposition right now than Newcastle. And that's crazy to say that, given what... Yeah. But in terms of, you know, where they're looking to go, they brought in players, which is something that Newcastle haven't been able to do. I know they brought in Elanga, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I could see why, for Sesko, United would be a more interesting and exciting proposition. So, yeah, I could see why he would opt for it. Because, like I said, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near as bad as they was last season.
Yeah,
I'm not suggesting they're going to win anything major, although they might. But I doubt it.
You see, with Manchester United, though, one thing I will say, just to give them a bit of credit, is that in these last couple of seasons, they've not been Manchester... Like, when I was growing up, Manchester United was the biggest club in the country. They used to win the league every year. They're not that anymore. But one thing you can give them credit for is that I think in the last 3 seasons, they've made the final each time. They made the Europa League final, FA Cup final, Carabao Cup final. So even at their worst, they're still on the brink of winning things. So you could say that, look, don't get me wrong, Newcastle, you're gonna win majority of your games each week. You're gonna be playing this fancy football. You're gonna be in the Champions League for this season. That's great, but are you going to be potentially winning something every season? I'm not sure if I can say that for Newcastle. Whereas, weirdly enough, for Man United, history has shown in the last 3 years that actually they can make finals, even when they're rubbish. I looked at the Europa League last season and I was just like, how's this team? Look how they're getting battered every week in the Prem by just normal average teams in the Premier League. And they'd go into the Europa League and they'd look at their game against Lyon, where they turned it around in the last minutes. They had moments of magic. It got them to the final. I know they didn't win it, but they're a team that shows that actually we can go quite far in competition. So for someone like Sesko, who's obviously not won anything with, from what I know, he's not won anything with RB Leipzig, probably wants to add more trophies to his belt. That's the whole point of being a footballer. Maybe going to Man United is the more...
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at, no disrespect, but if you look at his genesis into football, he started off in Austria with Salzburg. And then he's gone on to Germany, and now he's arrived in the Premier League, which, you know, let's be honest, of the 8 leagues in Europe, the 8 major leagues, is the best league, I would say. And he's at a massive club. There's a certain aura about playing for Man United. And as I touched on earlier, him coming into United now with the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo, it's almost like there's a bit of a saviour complex, isn't it? And that quite appeals to players, I would imagine. You want to be part of that next wave of players that's brought Man United up from the, you know what I mean? Yeah. From the abyss.
Yeah, but could you also say that this is a risk? Because I saw a tweet earlier of how literally they bid the exact same amount for Sesko that they did for Rasmus Højlund. And consider that Sesko's 22, he's a hot commodity. It's kind of similar to Rasmus Højlund, that when he was at Atalanta, he was there for about 6 months, was really good, scored like 9 goals in that time, which is a good return for someone that's there for such a short time. And then he's brought into a big club, not really had the support of maybe older players that might have been in and around his position in terms of a striker or wingers. And we've kind of seen someone like Rasmus Højlund kind of, you know, burn essentially there. So much so that Man United are saying, I think at one point there was even saying to RB Leipzig, are you interested in it? So I mean, is it a risk to go for someone so young when in reality there's someone like Ollie Watkins out there who I know he's much older. He's nearly, I think he's 30, but we know what Ollie Watkins can do. He's Premier League proven. He's English. Like, is it a bit of a risk to go?
It's
especially with the amount of money.
I mean, let's be honest. All strikers that cost that amount of money are a risk. I mean, even Isak, when he came to the Premier League, he was deemed as a risk because, believe it or not, some people may not realise this, but he wasn't the most prolific either before he came to England. And there are also injury concerns over Isak.
Yeah.
Sesco is not the most prolific at the moment. Like we said, 13 goals, that's a decent return, but that wouldn't make him prolific. However, he is only 22, and the physical attributes you can't deny. Big, strong, quick, good in the air, both-footed. So I could see why clubs would want to take a punt on him. I mean, like I said, Arsenal were, heavily favoured at one point to sign him. And it's been said is that the manager was in preference for Sesco, whereas perhaps Berto and one or two others was the ones pushing for Gyökeres. We'll never know because I don't suppose we'll ever really know the truth of that. But that's what people said. But regardless of how you want to spin it, this guy is a talent, and I could see why United would want to sign him.
Yeah. So what we're saying then? We're saying that he's going to end up at Man United.
I reckon that move will probably happen.
Yeah. I think so as well. I mean, apparently RB Leipzig are saying that they're kind of going to let the player decide where he wants. So to be honest, if in terms of their club, both Man United and Newcastle are willing to pay the high amount that they want. They're going to get the money for someone that I don't even know how much they paid for him, probably a minuscule amount. Yeah, it's a win. It's a win for them in a way because then they can reinvest.
They should take the money with Sesco because at the end of the day, you strike while the iron's hot. Yeah. Get the money. They can bring somebody else in, and Sesco obviously wants to move. Yeah. So I think all parties will be satisfied. So I could see that definitely happening.
Exactly, and them Red Bull clubs already. They pull out loads of talent. Yeah. They're potentially going to lose Xavi Simons as well, so that knowing them, they'll line up someone.
Well, let's be honest, they are a selling club.
Yeah, they are.
So it's a situation that they're used to.
Yeah, it's true. Well, James says Sesko's an idiot if he goes to Man United. Eddie Howe is one of the best managers in the world for developing young talent. United is where careers go to die, all about the money if he goes to Manchester. I mean,
think it's a bit, to be fair, it's a bit more than that. I think, yes, Eddie Howe is definitely a talented manager, but you've got to look at where Newcastle are right now. They're in a bit of limbo. Yeah. Isak, we don't know whether he's going or staying. They've had trouble attracting players. And like I said, Man United, especially to people who live outside of this country, they will look at Man United as still being that massive club. Yeah. And the aura is there, and the potential is there. So if you're a young guy like Sesco, you're looking at the two projects side by side. It's easy to see why he would favour United. Yeah.
And I mean, just going back to Newcastle, I mean, I was saying before we went on air that I've never seen a window so embarrassing before, honestly.
It's been great.
I actually feel really sorry for them as a club because it's a great club. But like to miss out on potentially Sesco, whose rumours are saying that he wants to join United, that's his preferred destination. You might not get Wissa. You might lose your best player. Missed out on Ekitike, Cunha and Buemo, João Pedro. Who else? There's so many other players.
And in all that time as well, it's not like they haven't got the money. They've got the money.
Exactly.
But due to the PFR rules, they can't spend it. I mean, they've got a Langer in. I think that's a good signing.
Yeah, that's a good signing.
But I'm sure the manager will be very frustrated. And then on top of all that, you're about to, or could very well lose your best player, your striker, your talisman. So, it can't be great. Yeah,
it is dark times for them, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes on. I mean, obviously we've got our final one standing. I wonder if, obviously as Arsenal fans, we don't really want Sesco to pop up on that
no,
game. But he might, looking at how United are lining up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because here we are. Like they're literally side by side now in the same league, so the comparisons will inevitably be made.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm still for me, I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure you're the same. Actually, I'm happy with Gyökeres.